Heyo, welcome into CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, coming to you live from our homes. I'm Sean Anderson, host of CHGO Bets Daily. Alongside me, the ranker of fries, apparently, Cody Delmendo. Why are you ranking fries?
Because today's National French Fry Day. Come on, man.
I had no idea. I mean, I walked into 7-Eleven on 7-Eleven, and they were like, "Do you want a free Slurpee?" And I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "It's 7-Eleven." And I was like, "Oh." So it could be the 4th of July, and the only way that I would know that is that there's fireworks going off. I'm completely unaware. I do know that tomorrow is the return of baseball. So today we'll be talking about some futures that we can bet on DraftKings Sportsbook or all around the fantastic state of Illinois because we love to gamble and we are degenerates. Again, follow Cody on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. And since we're just throwing out shout outs to CHGO people, shout out to your guy Ryan for his story on Justin Steele and now I'm blanking on the other Cub. Alzolay. Great story from Ryan. So make sure you're checking all that stuff out at CHGO_sports. But you want to start with your Cubs? Because I saw you got one future that's Cub specific.
Yeah, I mean, I already have a future on Marcus Stroman to win the Cy Young, and then he's had 3 bad starts since I did that. So now the odds are even better. Like you get him at plus 1,700. I got him at plus 1,100. So he's got to pitch better if it's gonna work out for me. But Justin Steele's been as consistent as anyone for the Cubs all season. It leads National League in earned run average. Went to the All-Star game. Got a little national attention. Probably not too much because it was literally 1 inning. But he's not gonna blow strikeouts by you. But he's a quality pitcher. Quality starts. I think he at least leads the National League in quality starts. Again, best ERA in the National League. There's, at plus 1,700, it's not a bad bet if you wanted to place a future here at the second half. You can get the Cubs at like plus 850 to win the division, make the playoffs, somewhere around those same odds. I wouldn't place that bet until after the trade deadline. That's just me personally. I placed the bet on the Cubs to win the division at plus 650 at the beginning of the year. They're 5 under 500 right now. They got an easy schedule going into the second half here. The 10-game homestand. They got the Red Sox, the Nationals, and the Cardinals. All 3 teams are not that good. They're all in last in their divisions. So we'll see how they do. But if you do believe that the Cubs will be making some sort of second half run, it's not a bad time to place a bet on them, I guess. But yeah, as far as an individual player, I like the odds for Steele to maybe win the Cy Young. If you would have got him at beginning of the year, I don't even want to know. I would love to know, but whatever those odds are, if you place that bet at the beginning of the year, like good for you. But still, at plus 1,700 is not bad. I remember last year I rode second half for Dylan Cease to win Cy Young with you at plus 900, and for a while it looked really good, and then the last month really fucked us. But there's barring injury, I feel like you're going to get quality starts out of Justin Steele the rest of the way. I do think it matters if the Cubs perform well. So in my eyes, I'm in some way placing a bet on Justin Steele here is actually placing a bet on the Cubs to make the playoffs maybe or something like that. I think if they can get in the playoffs, maybe that helps his Cy Young chances.
Absolutely. It's a bold it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it pays off. I mean, we saw the Jake Arrieta run, in 2016 or 2015 had that dominant second half. So, I mean, if he's winning games, I think that's going to be the biggest thing that helps him. Because if he's helping a bad team win games, I think that probably emphasizes it a little bit.
Overall, the Cubs have they have one of the easier schedules in baseball in the second half of the year. So
I heard that it's on with the Sox, so I don't know. I don't know if I buy that narrative. You got to win games.
I'm just saying, as far as matchups that he'll go up against, it could be beneficial for him to only make those numbers better. He's pitched well against good teams this year, so we'll see.
So I dominate bad teams.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at plus 1,700.
I like it. No, I do. Especially again. I mean, I don't even know if it's certainly dependent on if the Cubs do well or not. I mean, if he just has a on fire second half, and he leads the league in ERA. I mean that's a pretty good reason to vote for a Cy Young. Are you still sitting on a Reds future?
I am.
Oh, there you go.
Cash out for like $36 right now if I want to.
That's pretty decent. Look at you.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride it for a couple more weeks though. We'll see what happens at the deadline.
Yeah, I say just ride it until the end. I mean, it's 20-1 and at this point. I mean, you're not going to get a 20-1 ticket on the Reds at any other point.
They're at plus 130 right now.
Jesus, yeah, just sit on 20-1. That's insane. One bet I do like before we get into the team futures that Cody has, and there's a decent amount of markets here. Team futures on to miss or make the playoffs, division winner, World Series winner, league winner, regular season wins, etc. You could forecast divisions if you wanted to. The one I like though at plus 175, Ronald Acuna to have a 40-40 season. I think he does it. At plus 175, he's already got 40 steals. So you're just hoping that he hits 19 more homers. He's hit 41 before, and that was back in 2019. And that's when he led the league in plate appearances. He currently leads the league in plate appearances. He leads off for the best team in baseball. I think him getting to 40 homers is absolutely possible. So I would take at plus 175 something that's longer right now than the Reds to win the division, Acuna to hit 19 more homers. I'd sign up for that. I like that a lot at plus 175.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that. He's running away with this National League MVP race. I mean, I was looking at the MVP markets, and it's like Ohtani or Acuna. And if you don't take one of them, then you're getting really good odds. But they're both having such great seasons. It just feels like they're both running away with it. And I wouldn't bet against anyone else. If you got Acuna at the beginning of the season, good for you. But no, and because of that, I think that this 40-40 thing could totally happen. Absolutely.
I do notice too that there's home run totals, and there's some Cubs and Sox on there. One of them is Eloy Jimenez over 25.5 home runs or not, over minus 110, under minus 120. I would say lean under at minus 120. He currently has 12. He has been injured, but he will probably stay injured. Knock on wood. I hope not, but I'm just a pessimist about this damn team. So I would say probably take the under on Eloy homers, but then also Acuna, his regular season total homers over 36.5 at minus 110. I would take that. I mean, you get some buffer space between that and the 40-40. Sorry, I got distracted by Shohei's regular season totals too. Did you see this one?
I'm looking in the market right now. They have it
over 62.5. 30-1. Do you think he'll break the American League home run record?
I'd love to see it. All I can say is that I'd love to see it. What, he has 30 some homers right now?
Yeah, or 29. I think he barely missed it or something like that. But there's a decent amount of markets out there too. If you think Clayton Kershaw is going to get 88 more strikeouts, they have a prop. Will he record his 3,000th career strikeout at plus 160? But yeah, right now Shohei is at
62.5.
32 homers.
32 homers. So he just needs another 30 in the next. Well, he needs 31 homers here the next 2.5 months.
Where was Judge last year? At the All-Star break. The All-Star break, Aaron Judge. This is great radio. Love this. Now I can't actually do the math. Wait.
I'm assuming that
there it is.
Was farther along. I would guess that he would have more, that he had more than Ohtani.
The All-Star break, or after the All-Star break, Judge hit 29 homers. So from the actual, oh my God, sorry about this. 33. So I mean, he's right there.
I guess he is right there.
I don't know.
I might place it. That's really good odds.
30-1. I mean, $1 doesn't hurt you.
Yeah, right.
All right, and then you got some more team specific ones. Why don't we jump into those?
Yeah. So I was looking at teams to make playoffs, and when you look at the National League right now, I've been down on the Phillies all year, which of course is why they went 5-1 against the Cubs this year. But whatever. Not the point. The Phillies, they're like on the outside looking in. They're like a half game out of the wild card. Right now, it is great radio, Cody. We got Miami, Arizona, and San Francisco in those top 3 spots, with the Dodgers in first in their division. Obviously, the Braves first in the NL East, and then the Reds in first in the NL Central. So then on the outside looking in, Milwaukee and Philadelphia both a half game back of that last wild card spot. Now, personally, I think Miami's going to get in. I don't see them falling off. They have great pitching. Luis Ariz having a great season. I like what they got going on there. And I feel the same way about Arizona. So then it just comes down to, do I think that the Giants could fall apart here in the second half, like come back down to earth? I guess I think a lot of people were surprised they're 49 and 41 and are in a playoff spot right now. I don't think a lot of people had a lot of high hopes for them coming into the season. And to me, I think that they will at least be in that conversation. I don't see them really falling off, but I could see them falling out. But I think it would literally come down to the last week. I don't think that last playoff spot is going to be anyone's. Like, I don't think anyone's going to run it'll be within a game or two at the end of the year. And so it's a competition between the Giants, the Phillies, and the Brewers. And listen, right now, like, the Phillies, like, their biggest flaw is their defense for sure. But like, Harper hasn't been hitting homers this year. They're getting good production out of other guys. I'll say that. And they have played better of late. They've, especially over the last month and, a lot of June and everything. But I don't know. I've never, like, I haven't been a believer. I haven't. And last year they almost blew it. They almost didn't make the postseason to go on that World Series run. It is all about just getting in there and then seeing what happens. But at the same time, I don't know. I haven't been a believer. You get them at plus 165 to not make the playoffs, a half game out of the wild card right now. And I just think Miami, Arizona, and the Giants are better than them. I do. And I do think that if there were one of those teams that would fall out of that top 3, it could be Arizona, just because they really have, like, surprised us all. But it's hard to, like, think that they'll fall apart to where they'd fall out of the playoffs. They're 52 and 39. They're in the second spot in the wild card. They're 2.5 games up on the Giants in that wild card spot, and also in the division. Like, they're tied with the Dodgers for the NL West lead. Like, it's, to me, I think the Diamondbacks are like, we can win this division. It might, I don't know if it'll actually happen because the Dodgers always win the division, but I just think that NL West is just too good for this Phillies team to get in. And I think at plus 165, it's not bad. So that's where I'm rolling. And then as far as, like, the American League, it's like, maybe this is recency bias because I just watched the Cubs win 2 of 3 in New York. But this Yankees offense is awful, man. It's awful. They're going to need to make a trade. Like, maybe they trade for Bellinger. I don't know. I hope they don't. I hope the Cubs actually keep Bellinger. But they have a lot of issues on offense, especially with Aaron Judge out. And, like, there's still, like, no real timetable on when Aaron Judge is coming back. So for them to miss the playoffs at plus 130 is one, plus money, and two, like, you got Baltimore, who's in the first wildcard spot, Houston, which I'll trust Houston to make the playoffs, and then you got Toronto, that's tied with Houston at 50 and 41. The Yankees are a game back. I like Toronto a little bit more than I do the Yankees. Boston's right behind them too. Like, it's not like it's, and the Mariners and the Angels, whatever. But, like, I just like some of those other teams more than I like the Yankees. The Yankees offense is so bad, dude. So bad. You look, and I'm not just saying that because the Cubs just won 2 or 3. They're like, you look up.
They're bad. Yeah.
Josh Donaldson's hitting like 140 and playing third base for them every day.
But also, he's, like, setting records for, like, he's got like 20 hits and like 18 of them are homers. So, like, all the dude is doing is just hitting the ball.
Literally, he's
but everything else is
nothing. Yes, yeah, I know. But
yeah, no,
yeah.
Not,
so putting together enough hits to, like, do anything with them, though. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
putting a lot of pressure on their pitching. Their pitching isn't even really. I mean, I know they got Rodon back now. He pitched well against the Cubs in his first start back. You obviously had Garrett Cole. Severino has been fine, but like, I don't like. There's just. I feel like some of these other pitching staffs are a little bit better. And again, I think Toronto is better than them. They have better offense for sure. Their pitching is solid enough.
Toronto's iffy, man. Toronto, I feel like they can get hot, but like we have a Canadian correspondent, and they kind of got the same issues as the Yankees. They're just not hurt. So it's like they can get hot because like nobody's injured, but like they don't have to deal with Vlad being hurt. And maybe that the home run derby kind of fixes his swing. But I mean, he's got like 13 homers. I mean, like no one on their team has like more than 15 homers. I think it's but Bo Bichette leads their team. So like they are. I mean, they weren't really that impressive against the White Sox. So I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
that AL East is just very competitive in general.
Yeah.
So when I look up and down that division, it's hard for me to believe in the Yankees. And I know it's not exactly like a good bet to place because I'm betting against the Yankees to make the playoffs and make the playoffs every year, right? But as long as Aaron Judge is out, it's hard for me to believe in anything with that team because it's like you take him out of the lineup and everyone suddenly doesn't know how to hit. Make sense. Rizzo has been awful for the last month and a half. He had such a strong start this season. His numbers still look respectable, but that's because they came down from such a great spot. He was hitting well over 300. He hadn't done that in years. He did that very few times with the Cubs. And now he's hitting like 250, 11 homers. Like, I don't know. They obviously need to get their offense going if they're going to do something. And I mean, I could see it. And I do, you know, they're going to be active at the deadline, but also some of these other teams are too. So it's like, I don't know. I think Baltimore and Houston are locks to get those first two wildcard spots. And then it's going to be between Seattle, Boston, the Yankees, and Toronto. And I know Seattle's 45 and 44. They've been kind of a disappointment. I do think they'll be better in the second half. They were a second half team last year. Like I just don't think there's one particular team out of that could get that last wildcard spot that is like, yes, that team will do it. And it's July, it's July, and anything can happen. And all those teams are close. I do think Boston will probably fall down some because I don't believe in their pitching, but. If I had to choose one to take out of that, but I do think Seattle will be better, and I do think Toronto will at least keep pace. And now I even mentioned the Angels. I mean, I know they have a lot of injuries right now. They still have Ohtani though. Like anything that maybe they buy at the deadline instead of sell Ohtani. I don't know.
You brought up a team that I really like and a team that I think will continue to buy because you say. Where they currently stand in the NL West, why not us? Maybe they do believe they can start winning the division. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have the second strongest farm system in Major League Baseball. Hey, White Sox want to give up Dylan Cease? I mean, like I wouldn't be surprised if they started to look for starting pitching, and they do have some big prospects. I don't know if Cease is going to be one of those guys that gets traded, but maybe they're in the market for Lucas Giolito. Maybe they're in the market for Lance Lynn, and I mean maybe even like Tim Anderson. Like I think they could add a bat and a pitcher, and right now you can get them at 30-1 to win the World Series. If they're active and aggressive at the deadline, I could see them surprising like the Cubs in 2016. I don't think they made the playoffs last year, but nobody really felt like the Diamondbacks were that good. And then we kind of saw a little bit of this last year, and now they've been like really, really good. I think that's a lot of Brett Strom. It's a lot of Terry Lavolo, the manager, and that's a lot of just organizational building from the Diamondbacks. And it seems like they have a real strategy when it comes to building this organization. So I think that, I would be shocked if they're aggressive at the deadline. So at 30-1, that's probably, if they make the playoffs, going to be 17-1. So I'll take it now, and hopefully it's a red stock that you saw just start shooting up after they went on their crazy win streak. As long as Corbin Carroll's shoulder's healthy, I think this team's going to be really fine.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes to like these making or missing the playoffs, like the better odds, like you can get the Padres right now at decent odds, and like they had those high expectations coming to the year, and like they're 6 games back in the wild card. They're like 8 games back in the division. Like, I don't think they're going to win the division, but that team has the talent to get hot and maybe sneak and get that last wild card. I didn't even mention them whenever I was talking about the Phillies. Like, they're right behind Milwaukee, 6 games back at 43 and 47. That team is way too talented for them to be this bad. They're due for, like, I would not be surprised if they won, I don't know, 10 of 13 or something like that coming out of the All-Star break. It's just the team's too talented. So that goes back into like why I'm not high on the Phillies. And I expect Bryce Harper to be better in the second half. And they have the pitching. Just their defense is so bad. I've never liked the makeup of their team at all. And so I was almost right last year. They snuck in because Milwaukee blew it. Whatever. They got hot, went to the World Series, became a popular pick beginning of this year. And for most of this first half of the year, they were what I thought they were. They were mediocre. They played better the last 3-4 weeks, whatever. I'll give them credit for that. But can they do it for an entire year? We'll see. So,
yeah. And then the final one I have, just kind of the pain of being a White Sox fan. There is a bet over 5.5 for their longest win streak at plus 110. I'm actually going to take it. You mentioned easy schedules for the Cubs. In September, the Sox play the Tigers for 3 games, the Royals for 3 games, the Tigers for 3 games, the Twins for 4 games. I think it would be absolutely hilarious that come September, when nothing matters, this team is completely out and dead in the water, that they sweep 2 series in a row. I think it would be hilarious if they went on a 6-game win streak. So me finding so much humor in it, I'm going to bet on it because, again, when else would they win 6 straight games?
When things don't
2020,
matter.
Yeah, right. 2022, when they're spending $200 million on their team before they trade Tim Anderson, Lucas Giolito, and Lance Lynn, or after, when nothing matters. That's when it's going to happen. So I'll take over 5.5 for longest win streak for the Sox.
That's a ballsy bet to make, because if they do really sell off, like, I don't think they're going to trade Cease or Eloy Jimenez, but I think they could trade Giolito, and like, I guess they could trade Anderson, but I'm like, everyone will buy into the change of scenery, narrative, because he's, whatever the issue is going on, but he's having like an awful year. Like, I never, like, this is like a downfall that I never thought I'd see this early in his career. But he, coming into the year, he was the face of the franchise, and for them to move him now with still 1 more year left of control, right? Like, I don't see the White Sox doing that. It doesn't sound like a White Sox thing.
Well, I mean,
but
it sounds too smart for them to do. You've claimed this window. You've claimed this window of competition. You've claimed this window of of parades, and you're going to just end up selling off your face of the franchise. I think the only reason is just because, again, like, he doesn't have any value talent wise, because he's just been so bad. Obviously there's some people that will be like, oh, well, we know what he was and maybe we can get that. But I've heard something that it's like, 100 points of bad luck, 100 points of being injured, and 100 points of just old age. Like, that's the reason why he's 300 points below his normal OPS.
Isn't he like 28?
30.
Is he really 30 years old? Wow.
Yeah, 30.
Interesting.
30 June 23rd. So Happy 30th birthday. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Those are my bets. Over 5.5 longest win streak. The Diamondbacks at 30-1 to win the World Series, and then Shohei Ohtani to hit 63 homers, and then Acuna to have a 40-40. So there you go. Cody, you got Yankees to miss the playoffs, Phillies to miss the playoffs, and Justin Steele to win the Cy Young at 17-1. Any other ones that you're gonna sprinkle on there, or are you good?
Well, there's plenty that I would love to sprinkle on, but I'm not going to.
All right. So make sure you're following Cody on Twitter. You can see his full fried ranking list over at Cody_CHGO. You can follow the Bets account at Twitter at CHGO_Bets, and you can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Thank you to Sarah for producing the show, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.